Wish you all a happy Children's Day. We all know that we are preparing for our SA-1 examination, and today we are going to revise for the English examination. This time, you all know the paper is going to be paper 1 and paper 2. Paper 1 is for 40 marks and paper 2 is for 40 marks. In paper 1, we will get all the questions from the textbook. Whatever content we have in the textbook, from there we will get the questions. And for paper 2, we will get the questions out of the text. Clear? In the morning session, we'll have paper 1 and in the afternoon session, we'll have paper 2. Right. I'll just show you, I'll just like to revise the portion once. We all know the lessons as such, but when we give a quick revision, it will be easy for us to recollect, to write for the examinations during the creative writing skills. Okay, so we will just brush up whatever we know. I like a story format. In short, I will tell you so that you can remember the story. Okay, so firstly, let's go to the unit 1. You are all well aware of unit 1. We have read it so many times. We have revised it. Still for all, it's always good to revise. All the most before the exams, if we revise, it's very useful to us to recollect. Okay, and the thing is, we will get editing for 5 marks. Therefore, go through your textbooks. Go through all the lines line by line. You just give a reading. Okay, so those lines sometimes gets into your memory and it will be useful for you to recollect and find out the correct answer. Right. So firstly, let me get into the text. So first one is attitude is altitude. So you all know in this lesson we have a great person called Nick. Yeah, and Nick is a great inspiration to all of us, right? So what was so unique about Nick? Yes, he had no legs or no arms. Still, he is a successful person. Okay, so here I have just jotted down the important points from the text so that it's easy for you to revise. So firstly, we will speak about Nick's childhood. Okay, so when he was a child, his mother made some gadgets so that he can brush, he can have a bath, and he can read and he can write. Okay, and his father, he taught him how to swim and how to type. Okay, and now he doesn't have legs. Then how does he stand? Yes, he has a small foot attached to his left hip. He balances his whole body on that small foot. Okay, and then not only that, Nick not only swims, he even skates, he even plays football, he plays golf. Yeah, so that's a really wonderful thing. And not only that, he even does the surfing. He does the surfing on the surfboard. Okay, so these all are great achievements of Nick. The most peculiar part of Nick's life is he was sent to mainstream school. Mainstream means ordinary, like how we all people like with legs and hands, with no disability, ordinary people, normal people like us. To which school we go? That school is called the mainstream school. Okay, actually people with disability, they are generally sent to special schools. Special schools means people with disability are given special attention, special care. They have special gadgets over there. That's called a special school. Whereas here Nick's parents sent him to mainstream school. In the beginning, Nick was a little bit disturbed, you can say. He was a little bit angry with his parents also. Okay, and what happened in the school, you can all imagine. If anyone is abnormal, how do people react? Yeah, they teased him. And they tried to call them with the nicknames. That's what happened with Nick also. Yeah, so the children teased him, and Nick also felt a little bit depressed. He thought, now my parents are taking care of me. What will happen to me if I grow up? And all such thoughts were disturbing him. So what happened is once he attempted suicide. But luckily it was unsuccessful. And then, with the help of his parents and friends, he coped up. He got the strength back and he started living. And there happened a wonderful moment in Nick's life. Yeah, that is what I want to tell. That was a turning point in his life. He read an article about a disabled person. This disabled person had written an article. Article means like an essay or a piece of writing, like in the newspaper or in the magazine. There was a page in which he has written the story. This disabled man has achieved great things, and he wrote about it in that article. Reading that article, Nick got a great courage. He got great inspiration. Now he thought, when that person can do, why not I? So he decided not to complain about what he doesn't have and to be happy, to focus on what he has. Yeah, especially the beauty of his eyes. Yeah, no one can take away what he has. So he thought of concentrating on what he has. Okay, that's where the journey, success story of Nick began. And then he went to learn surfing. He learned surfing from Bethany Hamilton. Bethany Hamilton was an excellent coach. Yeah, and look at Nick. He was not an ordinary person. He always thought out of the box. That's what made him such a unique person. What he did is on the surfboard. You know surfing? Surfing means there is a board in the sense you can think of a skateboard. There is a plank sort of thing, and using that you would travel on the waves. That is called surfing in the sea or the ocean. On the waves you travel, and that's a sport. Yeah. So Nick was interested to learn surfing, and he learned surfing from Bethany Hamilton. And on that field also, he thought something different, to do something different. What he did is he did the 360 degree. He did the 360 degree field on the surfboard, which got him on the cover page of the Surfer magazine. So that's how he became very famous, and people came to know about his extraordinary personality, his great courage, and then he became a great motivational speaker. What is the intention behind becoming a motivational speaker? Yes, he wanted to give the courage which the article had given him. Which article? Yes, the article of a disabled person. When he read that article, he was fully boosted up with courage, with energy. The same energy he wanted to give to others who were in a need. So that's the reason. Yeah. And then he says when he falls, he would get up. He would try to get up. Yeah. And he poses us a question how we are going to do. So he is an inspiration to one and all, right? And now we move on to part B. Is that clear? Part A. If there are any doubts, you can just type in the comment section. Yeah, I'm glad to see some of the students in here in the live chat. Yeah, Banu Prakash. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for joining. And if you have any doubts, You can just text in the live chat so that I can clarify them. Yeah, we move on to the part B. Now, part B is reading B also. Some people call reading B. This is every success story is also a story of great failures. Here we have a collection of stories wherein we get to know about many great people who have achieved great things. Yeah. So first story or the first biography we can say it is about the story of the life history of Abraham Lincoln. We see Abraham Lincoln, he faced many difficulties. He faced many failures. He faced many failures in business, in elections, in he lost in his personal life, in his health, everywhere he faced a lot many difficulties. Yet he never gave up hope. He kept on trying, and ultimately he became the president of United States of America. So here, from the story of Abraham Lincoln, we learn that the more we persist, perseverance is the secret to success. Let how much ever difficult it is, how much ever big the adversities are, we should never be disturbed. We should be focused towards our goal. Then success is definitely ours. Yeah. And now we move on to the second incident, or you can say the second person, successful person. He is none other than Lee D. Forrest. Yeah, Lee De Forest invented the triodes tube, and he said that with this triodes tube, you can hear the human voice from one corner of the world to the another. That is now in the telephone, the television, the radios. The person who is speaking is somewhere else, and we can hear it from somewhere else. This is because of the triodes tube. So he said he can transform the voice from one place to another, but the district attorney, they charged him that he is using fraudulent means. Yeah, he is trying to cheat the people. Yet he never gave up. He kept on going with his invention, and ultimately he was successful. Next, we move on to the greatest achievement of Wright brothers. What did they do? Yeah, they were the ones who invented the aeroplane. Yeah, and when they did so, there were many people who discouraged them. They questioned them how a machine heavier than air can fly. Because if a small feather is there, it is lighter than air, it can fly. Then how a machine which is heavier than air fly? But they never were disturbed. They weren't perturbed at all. They went on with their invention, and within a week's time, they had made their first takeoff of their aeroplane at Kitty Hawk. Yeah, and now we next move to the story of Colonel Sanders. You all are pretty aware of Colonel Sanders, is it not? Yeah, Colonel Sanders, he was at the what do you say, at the retired stage where he had just one old car and some a bit of money with him, and he had to make a livelihood. Yeah, and for that he had to make something. He had to do something for an earning, and that time he remembered his mother's recipe, and he tried those recipes, and then he sold the samples, and maybe he had to knock thousands of doors before he got his first order. So what do we learn from Colonel Sanders' life? Yeah, we learn the quality of perseverance. Yeah, next we move on to Walt Disney. You know the Walt Disney? Yeah, we all know about the Disneyland, Disney World. Yeah, Walt Disney was the first person who made the cartoon world, the Mickey Mouse. Yeah, and how did all that start? Was he encouraged? No, 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 no. People said that he had no talent. He was not fit for caricatures. He cannot do anything. And then once he got an opportunity, he took up the opportunity. He saw a small mouse. Mouse means a rat, and he started making sketches, and that was all. That was the beginning of the cartoon world, the Mickey Mouse. Okay, so Walt Disney gives us the best example, never to lose our confidence. Let anybody tell anything. We shouldn't lose the belief in ourselves. That is what will take us to ultimate success. Yeah, and next we move on to Thomas Alva Edison. We all are aware of this great scientist. Who is he? Yes, he was the one who invented the bulb. Yeah, and was he very much talented? Did he go to great schools and colleges? No, we see that in our textbook. Yeah. So what happened when he was a child? There was a he was partially deaf. He had a disability. Yeah, and then the teacher said that he was not fit for schooling and asked the mother to take the child home. And the mother took it as a challenge. And then the child also took it as a challenge, and he proved himself to be the greatest scientist of all. So here is an example of a person who got victory over his disabilities with just hard work. He worked hard as much as he could. Yeah. And next we have Henry Ford. Henry Ford, great manufacturer of cars. Yeah, and he was very famous. He is very well known. Yet he too did a mistake. Once he made a car and he forgot to put the reverse gear. Yes, and later he corrected his mistake, and it is one of the most successful in industry, car manufacturing industry. Okay, so here what we understand is it's quite common to commit mistakes, but how quickly you jump up, how quickly you bounce back, rectify them, and go ahead is what matters. Yeah, and next we have Socrates, and this part you just go through very thoroughly because generally you get it asked in your editing part. So take that entire paragraph and go through that one line by line, word by word. Sometimes it is asked in the fill in the blanks also. So go through them line by line, word by word. Yeah, here you see Socrates. There Socrates is a great philosopher. He is wise man, the wisest man you can say. He's a great philosopher. And once a young man came to him and asked what was the secret to success. And Socrates said, asked him to come to the bank of the river next day. Okay, and the young man also obeyed him and he came to the river. Socrates took him into the river. They were walking towards the river, and as the water started approaching the person's maybe the knee, the thigh, the belly, the chest, and then to the neck, what Socrates did is he ducked him into water. And the man, he struggled hard to bring out his head out so that he can breathe some air. Yeah, and then after that, Socrates asked him what was the thing that he needed desperately when he was in the water. And the young man said it was air. So Socrates said, how much you needed air when you were underwater, that much you should thirst for success. Then only you can have the success. Yeah, burning desire is the essential thing. That is the secret to success. You should never be having a plan B, if not this, if that. No, I will be successful at any cost. That should be our attitude. Okay, and then we move on to part C. This is a very interesting life story biography, you can say. Very interesting. You can say it's very awe-inspiring. Yeah, this is I Will Do It. And here, the person about whom we are reading here, the great person, is none other than N.R. Narayanamurthy. Yeah, N.R. Narayanamurthy was intelligent, shrewd, brilliant, bright, clever, all the adjectives related to intelligence you can add to Narayanamurthy. Yeah, he was such a shrewd person, and his only aim when he was a child was to get a seat in IIT. IIT is a very prestigious institution. Even now, it is a prestigious institution in our country. Yeah, and he wanted to get a seat in IIT, and he worked day in and day out. He toiled hard. He burned the midnight oil, and he worked hard. And ultimately, he was successful in getting a seat in IIT. And when the day came where the results were out, he went and told his father about the success story of him getting the seat in IIT. But the father had a bit of financial constraint because those days it was common. The father was the only person who would earn, and the entire family, that too, the families were big those days. Okay, so the entire family was dependent on the father's income. So here in N.R. Narayanamurthy's family too, the same situation was there, and his father was a great person. He said the truth. Of course, it was difficult for the father to say, yet he dared to tell the child the truth that it was quite difficult for him to educate him in IIT, but he encouraged him to study as much as he wanted to in Mysore. Yeah, and N.R. Murthy decided that it's not the institution which is going to give him success. It is he himself who has to work hard to get success in his life. So he put in all his efforts, worked hard, and he achieved success. So he never took the help of any community, caste, any of the political connections to come up in life. He believed in himself and he went forward. Yeah, and he is the founder of the Infosys company, the Indian IT companies. That is the greatest achievement that we can see. Like he proved that it's not always it's not that money can be earned only illegally. You can earn money legally and ethically too. So that's what the son of a school teacher proved to the world. Yeah. So now we move on to uh, just revise the interview of Nick, diary entry of Nick, diary entry of Nick's mother, conversation between Nick's father and mother. Yeah, and you can even go through the diary entry of Edison or Edison's mother, and then you can even go through the mm interview of N.R. Murthy or a conversation between N.R. Murthy and his father. Now we move on to the unit 2. The theme of this unit is humor, and you are pretty aware of this skit. It's in the form of a skit or a play. I'll just tell it like a story so that it is easy for you to understand. Okay, here in this lesson, Dear Departed 1 and Dear Departed 2, that's all in one story. So I will tell like a story. In Dear Departed 1, you have Abel Merriweather. So here you can look at the notes here. Abel Merriweather is the father, and he has two daughters. One is Amelia Slater, and the second one is Elizabeth Jordan. Okay, Amelia Slater's husband is Henry Slater, and they have a daughter that is Victoria Slater, right? And Elizabeth is married to Ben Jordan. Okay, so here Abel Merriweather is a father. Now, how Amelia was is she was very dominating, very rude, you can say, very straight talking person. So one day what happened is Abel Merriweather had a headache. So he took some tablets and he slept. And Amelia thought that Abel had died, right? And so she informed her sister. Who is her sister? Yes, her sister is Elizabeth Jordan. She informed her sister, but actually, before this, 3 years back, this Elizabeth and Amelia had a big fight. Okay, so Elizabeth did not come to Amelia's house for a long time. So now there was a doubt whether she would come or not. But here Elizabeth came to the house because Abel was dead. The father was dead. She had come. Okay, and as soon as Elizabeth came, Amelia started talking about how the incident happened and all that, and then they started to divide the property, who gets what. Then Elizabeth told that she needs the gold watch because Abel had gifted her the gold watch. Okay, right. So the gold watch was hers. And next they thought, what more property? There were the furnitures. Some furnitures were there. Okay, so before this, what happened is Amelia had a plan. Amelia liked the bureau. Bureau means a nice table, decorated table. Amelia liked that table of Abel Merriweather. Okay, so what she thought is before Elizabeth comes to her house, if she takes the table and keeps in her room. Actually, Abel is staying in the first floor and Amelia is in the ground floor. Okay, so if she brings the table down, Elizabeth will think that bureau belongs to Amelia. That was the idea. Okay, so according to the idea, she brought the table down and she brought a clock also, and everything was done. After that, Elizabeth had come and they started dividing the property. Yeah, and they wanted to know whether he paid the insurance or not. Okay, so what this Amelia did a mistake is she brought the bureau, but all the bills of the insurance are all in the drawer of the bureau. Yeah, and it is locked. And where should be the key? Yes, the key is in Abel's room because bureau belongs to Abel. Right. So she did not bring the key. She just brought the bureau. Yeah. And now to check whether he paid or not, paid the insurance or not, they need to check the bills. And the key is upstairs. Now, who will bring the key? Yes, now Amelia asked Victoria to go and bring the key. Victoria is scared because they thought that Abel was dead. Huh. And still for all Victoria goes to get the key. At that time, Abel comes down. Abel is actually alive. She mistook him to be dead. When Abel comes down, everyone is shocked. Everyone thinks that he is a ghost. Yeah. And then Abel looks at the bureau and asks why that is downstairs. Then Elizabeth tells about Amelia's plan to pinch the bureau. Actually, Elizabeth is impressed with the bureau. She says how beautiful this is. Who bought it? And Amelia tells that Henry brought it. So here Abel comes and tells that the bureau belongs to him. So the plan of Amelia came out. And then Abel Merriweather was very disappointed to see his daughters thinking about the property. They were just dividing the property, not even interested to come and sit beside him. They should actually go upstairs and sit beside their father. But here they were simply dividing the property. He was very pained at heart. So he made three decisions. One is to change the will. Will means the property to whom it will belong. They need to write it. So that in that paper he has told that the property of Abel will belong to those who stay with him, with whom he stays. Yeah, in the last moment. Yeah, and second is to pay the premium of the insurance. And the third one is to marry John Shorrocks. So ultimately the property would belong to John Shorrocks. So this is what the story is all about. Okay. From this lesson you can revise the interview of Abel Merriweather and also the diary entry description of Amelia. Right. And now we move on to The Brave Potter. The Brave Potter is a very humorous story. In this story, we see a tiger. A tiger is tired and he is in search of a shelter from the rain. There, a woman says that it's better to live with a leak than a it's better to live with a tiger than a leak. Actually, she tells the leaking roof, the water coming from the roof, and the tiger thinks that the leak is a big monster and he is very scared of the leak. That time there is a potter coming. This potter actually is in a drunken state and he came in search of his donkey. Yeah, he came in search of his donkey and he found the tiger. He thought the tiger is the donkey because he was in a drunken state. The tiger thought that the potter is the leak because it was in a frightened state. Okay, so the potter climbed on the tiger and hit it very hard and took it home and he tied it to the tree and he slept. The next day, when the villagers saw, they were all shocked. They were very surprised and they called him Brave Potter because he brought the tiger. Yeah, and he became the famous Brave Potter. And after some years, there was a fight between the or a war between the Potter's kingdom and the neighboring kingdom. And the Potter's kingdom was not so strong. The neighboring kingdom was very strong. So the Potter's king, he wanted a great general. And as Brave Potter was very famous, they recommended him, and Brave Potter became the general of the army. Yeah, and all of a sudden he became general, but he did not know how to ride a horse. So he wanted to practice. So he sat on the horse to practice for the next day war. At that time, the horse started running. All of a sudden, it started running towards the enemy camp, and the potter was helpless. So he held a tree to stop the horse, but the tree also uprooted and came in his hand. So when the horse started running towards the enemy camp, they thought that the brave potter has come with the tree in his hand to destroy them, and all the enemies ran away. And the enemy king kept a letter in the tent and went off. Yeah, he made an apology letter to the potter's king, asking apology for attacking his kingdom. The potter brought the letter and gave it to his wife and asked it to be given to the king. Next day, the king asked him to come to his palace to reward him. So he was going by walk, and all the people said, "See, but okay." So that is all with the Brave Potter. Here you can revise a notice of Brave Potter lesson and also the conversation also. Okay. Now we move on to the third unit. This is a very important lesson, journey lesson, where you see the intricate relation between a father and a son. Okay, the father is lives in a tribal. It's in a tribal area, yeah, and he has educated his son, and the son has become a government officer, and the father has arranged the marriage of the son. So the son comes to his father's house for marriage and he takes leave for 6 months and is not willing to go to his workplace. Still, because he has got some debts, he has to go to office and he cannot afford to pay and his responsibility is also increased. So when he was about to start, one big problem. What's the problem? Who will carry the luggage? This officer or the narrator became very self-conscious. He thought the whole world would laugh at him. So he was not ready to carry the luggage. So the father volunteered to carry the luggage. And though father was carrying, the son was not so comfortable. He felt that it was wrong on his part to allow his old father to carry the luggage, and he wanted to tell his father that he can carry his own luggage, but he could not bring all his senses because he could not gather all his courage because he was afraid or he was ashamed of carrying his own luggage. Yeah, the self consciousness, the prestige issue stopped him from doing so. And then he justified, it's okay if father carries luggage because I got him a good name, and father cannot look at me carrying the luggage, and I am not habituated to carrying heavy loads, so it's okay if father carries. That way he started justifying. So on the whole, neither the father spoke nor the son spoke. Why probably didn't they speak? Yes, they both were thinking. Yeah, and ultimately, when they reached the bus stop, the bus hadn't come so far. So they reached Dirang, and they sat for a cup of tea. That time, the father broke the silence. He said, he asked the narrator if he had a pair of old shoes. That's when the narrator looked at the father's feet. The father said that his legs pained because of the uneven roads. The pebbles pricked his feet, he said, and the narrator felt extremely ashamed of his carelessness, of his recklessness, and he offered some money, but the father was not willing to take. He did not want the son to spend money for him, and then the father ultimately took the son ultimately gave him the old shoes. Father wore it happily, and they moved on in opposite directions. One is father going towards the same hilly terrain, and son going towards the city life. Okay, and next is the poem of another woman. Yeah, another woman is about domestic violence. I have already prepared the choreography. Just go through that so that you will understand what exactly is the plight of the woman. She is subject to um, she is subject to domestic violence by her mother-in-law. Okay, and then we move on to the next story, that is Never Never Nest. Never Never Nest is about the disadvantages of buying things on installment basis. Here Jack and Jill buy many things on installment basis. When Aunt Jane visits their house, she understands that the EMI is more than their salary. So she advises them to pay off at least one of the bills, clear one of the bills and make one thing at least their own. So Jill pays the bill of the doctor bill. Doctor bill in the sense they Jack and Jill have a baby. For the doctor bill also they have done it on EMI. That EMI is not paid completely. So Jill clears that EMI bill and makes the baby her own. So here we understand how much we should be careful about spending, income, expenditure, how much we need to be um, saving the money and getting the things, not going for EMIs more than our capabilities. Yeah. So I'll just discuss about the question paper. We have the paper one. In the paper one, we have the first bit as comprehension. Okay, we will go with the question paper once. I will show you the pattern, and then again I will go with the unit 4. In the paper 1, first bit you will have a reading comprehension, and then you have editing, and then you have the objective types. All those objective types are also picked from the uh, textbook only. Yeah, so you are given choice over there. You need to select and write from it. Okay, and after that you have the creative writings. The creative writing, one is for 10 marks and one is for 5 marks. For 10-mark question you have a choice. Yeah, so here I have given you the creative writings, what all come for paper 1 and paper 2. Here in the paper 1 you can see story or narrative, then it is conversation, then description, or you have drama script or conversation, I think you can see that on the screen. So there is a choice for the 10-mark question. Okay, so you would either be given narrative or description, drama, script, or conversation. There is an internal choice. Okay, so you can choose any one of them and write. And look, write the creative writing of 10 marks, that is major discourse for 1.5 page or 2 sides. Okay, and those 2 sides also facing each other you write. Yeah, and then here try to make it as brief as possible. Do not go with too many words, too many pages. Make it as brief as possible. Concentrate on the pattern. So just go through the creative writings, and if in case you do not have time to go through all the creative writings, at least go through the pattern to follow. Before the creative writing, I have explained you the pattern to follow, that you go through. Okay, so here you can look at this screen. Here you have, there you are given 2 questions. Among that, any one you should write. And then message. Here you have a paper one, message, notice, or diary. Here no choice is there. Okay, so you have to write the question which is given, and take a fresh page and write. Don't forget to write the question number and follow the question number given in the question paper itself. Okay, and the paper 2 also you have some creative writings here. Biography or essay, a letter, news report, speech. In the letter writing, go through the informal letters, the friend letter, letter to the friend. I have already prepared for on Swachh Bharat, Kanti Velugu, Haritaharam. Okay, online classes. Some of the models are there. If you get to know the model, you can. Letter should consist 3 paragraphs. Salutation, body, and the conclusion. Yeah, and for yours, don't put apostrophe. Yours sincerely, don't put apostrophe. Okay, and from address in the beginning you need to write, and ending you can write the address on the envelope. Okay, speech and all, you are given hints in the question paper itself. Just segregate them. First para, introduction, then advantages, then disadvantages. Yeah, and then you give a conclusion. Conclusion is some suggestions to get rid of the problem or whatever is a solution. Okay, poster making, I have already given you the format. Please go through that. Yeah, so you need to start in a fresh page. Don't color over the words. Don't color the entire page also. You can use colors to write, but don't color the entire page. Okay, and the words should be more effective. Invitation also, I have already given you the pattern. Yeah, invitation, in the first beginning you need to write, we cordially invite. Hmm? And in the poster, first you need to write what, when, where. Okay, so go through the videos already I have shared, and you can go into the channel, click on playlist, and you can see the pattern to follow. In case you have any doubts, text to me. I'll be glad to reply you. Okay, now we move on to the fourth unit. Fourth unit, part A, is rendezvous with Ray. Okay, this is about a great Bengali director, Satyajit Ray. Okay, and in this lesson we see Robert. Robert is a French Canadian priest. He comes on his way to India. He watches the movies Appu trilogy. Appu trilogy is the 3 parts of the movie Appu. So that was so interesting that he watched all the 3 at one go. Okay, and he was so impressed on Satyajit Ray. He wanted to come and meet him immediately. But he thought if he comes and just like that meets, hi, hello, how are you, Ray, it won't be so meaningful. So he collected information about him for 9 long years, and then ultimately he met Ray, and they became so close friends. Their friendship lasted till the end. That means till Ray died, they both were friends. Okay, and one thing Roberts tells about Ray is very shy type person. People think that he is very proud and is very cold and all, but he is actually a very shy type person. And Ray would never tell about himself. He was so shy that he wouldn't even tell about himself. But when they became close, that time Ray used to take him for private screenings also. And one more thing he says is people, Ray's detractors means the people who dislike the Ray's what do you say, his popularity, they criticized him, telling that he was selling India's poverty to the West, telling to people that India is a poor country. But actually, that was not what Ray was doing. Ray was capturing all the emotions, all the feelings. He was just transforming that into the celluloid. That's what he was doing. But some people criticized him, which Roberts felt very bad. He never felt good about it. He says the spiritual poverty is worse than the material poverty. He felt that the people should actually encourage such a great talent. In the bargain, they are discouraging him. Okay, and only one incident we have that Roberts narrates, that is once some well-known directors had come to Ray's residence to refer his manuscripts. And what happened there is Ray was showing all the manuscripts, and when they left, one manuscript was missing. The Charulata script was missing. And Roberts, at that time, he came. Actually, every Sunday, Roberts comes. That time he came, and he saw Ray very troubled and disturbed. And he asked the reason. And Ray said that the Charulata script was missing. And Roberts asked, did he doubt anyone? Did he suspect anyone? And Ray said he knew pretty well who had the Charulata script in his hand, which director had it. Yeah, the directors had come. So Robert said, is he going to ask them back? And Ray said, no, no, no. That would spoil the reputation of that person. He better not ask it. He would just let go of the script rather than go and ask him and hurt his feelings. So Robert was completely flat. He was completely impressed by the humane concern of Ray. This one incident, Ray Roberts quotes from the friendship of Roberts and Ray. Okay, then we move on to Maya Bazaar. Maya Bazaar is extremely a colorful movie. I think you might have all watched the color version of Maya Bazaar. Here, this movie, in this lesson, you just go through all the paragraphs. They may be asked in the editing part or in the fill in the blanks. As such, no creative writings have been asked so far. So go through the lesson for editing point of view and fill in the blanks point of view. Yeah. So this lesson we learn about the Telugu culture, the richness, the heritage, and the dialogues, and all the same. Okay. And now we go on to part C, tribute. Tribute is a biography of the Mahanati Savitri. So we see the beginning part of Savitri, that she was a great dancer, and she got some opportunities, yet she didn't shine. In the beginning, 2 to 3 rejections, and then she gave a mega hit with the movie Devadasu, and there was no turning back after that. Hit after hit, she was the most famous. She was on the peak of success, and the most important or the most attractive peculiar part of Savitri is her expressive eyes. Even the great Bollywood actors tell the witness that she was such a spontaneous actress. Any role you give, immediately she does it. Within a wink of an eye, she can bring that abstract thing into life. So that is the exceptional, outstanding, remarkable, noteworthy talent of Savitri. And Savitri gave her life to cinema, and cinema is eternal, hence Savitri is also eternal. She would live in the hearts of people for ever and ever. So this is how we conclude with this revision part for this SA-1. So all the stories in a gist I have told you. So you go through the textbooks once, yeah, and in this lesson, in this unit, you can refer the interview of Robert, conversation between Roberts and Ray on the event of Charulata script going missing. So these two, and there are some comprehensions also which were asked from the Roberts lesson, that is Rendezvous with Ray lesson. Those comprehensions also I have posted in the playlist. Please go through them. Yeah. Then question paper. When you get the question paper, go through the entire question paper. Okay. Full question paper you go through in the first 15 minutes, and then write in a sequence, in an order only you write. Don't write what I know first, what I don't know. Don't go with that. If you don't know, leave the space and go ahead. Later on, you can think and write. Allot the timing. Yeah. Firstly, comprehension half an hour, then objective types 1 hour, then creative writing. Give more importance to the creative writing because they consist of 10 marks, and write it neatly. Before starting the creative writing, jot down the points, what all points I need to cover. All those you jot it down, and then one by one you elaborate. Then see what is not so important, delete it, avoid it. Okay, write with a pencil in the last page, and whatever is okay, these are all good. These are all valid points. Those you take and avoid the unnecessary ones. Okay, so first have the habit of jotting down. Okay, and presentation very important. Go through the pattern preview, page preview of each creative writing, and according to that you follow it. A pattern is very important, and if you follow the pattern, you can definitely get 9 to 9.5 marks if you follow the pattern. Generally, most of the hints are given in the question paper itself. So if you develop them correctly and put it in the right pattern, definitely you will get good marks. And English is a scoring subject which will add up to your grades for the other subjects also. So go carefully and concentrate on the presentation. So if any mistakes come, don't use whitener. Whitener is strictly prohibited. Don't use whitener. Strike slightly with a pencil. Okay, if you have a pen eraser, well and good. Otherwise, slightly with the pencil. Yeah, and okay. I think I have done some justice by revising for this exam. It was hopeful. I hope it was helpful to you all. In case if you have any doubts, you can just comment in the comment section. Wishing you all the best, and if you have any friends who need some revision, please share this link with your friends, and all the best for your exams. Write well, yes, and go through all the lessons. Yeah, and go while going itself, be with a fresh mind. So go to bed early, and wake up early, and be prepared for the exam. Your mind should be calm and composed. That's when you can write the exams well. So revise once more till some time, and then yes, you can prepare it well and go through the patterns. That's what I would like to tell. Wish you all uh, success in your exam tomorrow. Yes, after the exams, I'll come with the solutions of the question paper. Yeah, keep in touch, and tomorrow I will most probably I'll post the solution script, answer script. What is a creative writing also I will type this time. Last time I wrote only the answers of comprehension and objective types. This time I will send the creative writings too. So see you again tomorrow evening with the solutions. Keep prepared, keep preparing, and forget not to subscribe our channel, share with as many friends as possible, and hit the like button if it was useful to you. Thank you for joining. It was wonderful being with you all. Thank you once again.